What's going on, everybody? Wilson here, your spiritual hype man, and I am super excited because I have a special guest on the show today. My man, the Prince Yoga himself, Mr. Hargobind Khalsa, right? Khalsa, I said that correctly. I'm probably the worst.
You got it, brother.
All right, here we go. Here we go. And so Hargobind is by far just one of the, I would say, macro level pictures, one of the best humans I've ever met. Like overall human in terms of like emotional intelligence, and just what he's providing to people in terms of like the spaces that he's created and then the time that he holds for people. I was one of them too, right? Like years ago, I remember meeting Harg at Casa and Potomac, and he actually held some space for me. We were talking at the cave, and that's still always a memory and definitely a big influence in terms of that helped me shape some of my decisions moving forward. So, Hark, thanks for joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, my brother. It's always a pleasure to be with you, and I appreciate those words from you. Like it means a lot to me. Um, yeah, and yeah, thanks for sharing it.
Yeah, of course,
Should
man.
I
Of
tell
course.
them the story of me as the yoga prince?
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into it. So, give us a little backstory. Yeah, who you are. Like for the people that don't know you yet. Yeah, who you are. How'd you get the Yoga Prince name? And then let's get into these moments and these situations for sure.
Um, So I think of myself as an entrepreneur in the health and wellness space. I think of myself as a yoga practitioner, and I really think of myself as a student and someone that is very curious and always trying to be self-reflective and just learn the lessons that life is teaching me the easy way and the hard way. Um, but one of my favorite stories is the Yoga Prince. So I've developed two yoga retreat centers, one Costco, Mexico in
Fire.
Cancun,
Yeah.
and the other Costco and Potomac in Martinsburg, West Virginia,
Also
about
fire.
60 miles from DC. So one of my yoga buddies, he was coming to yoga class one time, and he was in Martinsburg in West Virginia, and he runs into a friend of his, and he's like, "Oh, what you doing, bud?" And my buddy Jackson was like, "Oh, I'm going to yoga," and the guy at the gas station was like, "Did you hear?" And Jackson's like, "What?" He's like, "Did you hear about like the yoga prince that moved to Martinsburg?" And Jackson's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, like there's this guy and he lives in a castle and he teaches yoga and he's got this like thing on his head and and for those of you that can't see me, I'm Sikh. I wear a turban, and
Yeah.
and the guy's like, and and he's like a prince. He's like a yoga prince. And Jackson's like, you mean Hargo? He's like,
You mean
I
Hargobind?
don't know his name. I don't know his name, but we just heard that he's got a castle and he lives in Martinsburg now. And I was like, tell all your friends
Dope.
you met a yoga prince.
That's right. You've
Uh,
been knighted.
I've been,
And so
so
for the listeners and viewers, like Martinsburg too, like if you haven't been to it, it's how would you describe it?
it's a West Virginia town that went through, big population loss. There was a lot of closure of real estate. It was at some point it was probably a major hub for coal passing in,
Yep.
towards Washington D.C. and bigger towns on the East Coast. And so it went through a big economic transition and turmoil, and it's now kind of having a rebirth
Yeah.
to some extent. It is a little bit of a rough town, and certainly, people thought I was crazy to move there and open, a vegetarian yoga retreat center with a hot yoga room and offer massage and
Right.
preach health and wellness and all the positive things of getting outside and doing ice bath and
Yeah.
meditating in caves. And that just probably wasn't what the neighborhood was expecting.
Right. And I'm sure for everyone that was like, this isn't gonna work. How are you doing now, Harg?
I'm doing great. Yeah,
Doing
I'm
great.
crushing.
It's a great location.
I'm crushing it. It's the best location. It's 60 miles from Washington D.C. It's on 63 acres. It's a beautiful property. We
Beautiful.
remodeled basically like a failing mansion that was in serious need of repair, and we've really revitalized it and just turned it into an epic and beautiful property that hopefully will be in business for my daughter
Yeah,
in 30-40 years.
that's right.
Um, so
Generational,
we're,
baby.
we're on our way. We're
Yeah.
definitely on our way.
Yeah. Shout out to Will.
Yeah, shout out.
We always got to get one. That's how we met. That's how we met, Harg.
I
Will.
love Will.
Shout out
I
always to
need
Will,
more
man.
Will
Yeah.
Jones in my life.
That's right.
Yeah.
Keeping up with the Will Joneses. But that's cool, man. And I've seen it right firsthand because we've seen it I guess maybe not from the beginning, but definitely in some of the preliminary stages of where you had it. And it is we can't wait to get back out there, but it looks fantastic. And everybody that goes out there always has a positive experience, right? Whether it's the space or the food or the people. And we've been there for certain retreats, not one person leaves without an aha moment, and that's when we first met in Casa Om through Will, that then we met Josh, and then Josh was doing his Yogapreneur Collective up there, and that's how we officially met. And then and you were awesome enough to invite us out to one of the retreats that we did. It met all the other homies. Shout out to Mook, obviously, Ethan and everybody else. That was a good time. And then that's like your spot, your space, and everything that you held for us in that moment actually became an influence. And again, for most of the listeners or anybody that's new to listening, the thought is, life in generalization is just an accumulation of situations and decisions that we make over time, right? And it's these decisions that we come to fruition that we're not happy with, we're not feeling good about ourselves. Really, the question is like, what's driving these decisions? And a lot of it, if we go backwards, is that influence, the thought, the emotion, the action, which is the decision. So really, what are our influences? What are our thoughts? And then how does that produce the emotion? And that, are you able to filter through those emotions to make the right decision, whether you get rid of the emotion or use the emotion for good, right? For like a positive upward spiral, in your words, right? And so you and the space that you've created, and then when we were out there, not only taking the time, but having these different modalities like the ice bath and the breath work, I was introduced to that firsthand through you. And since then, which has been almost 4 or 5 years later, somewhere around like that, I've now take that part of my influence and I now do it every day, or the intent is to do it every day. Maybe I don't do the ice baths every day, but definitely the breath work, definitely the meditation, and that was a huge aspect in terms of my uh, changing of just my emotional, right, the emotional state. Because I remember when we first talked at the cave and you gave us that time to give us some feedback, that was like almost like a meeting with the guru, man. Like, you provided some great perspective on top of the things that I was able to feel and do and be introduced to at the Casa and Potomac through the retreat. That's changed it's changed my projection. Like, it's changed where I'm at as the individual now. And so thank you. Obviously, I know I've thanked you before, but just for the listeners, like, that's for people that either know or have known the story. Like, I've super emotional to like now, even more cool, calm, and collected. And I thank you for the time and then the introduction to it, of course. How did you get involved, or how did that start for you in terms like of these practices and being like, so cool and smooth?
I mean, I'm just such a big fan of like we are what we do.
Mm,
More than what I mean, that's the ultimate thing is we are what we do. We think about it, we feel it, we talk about it. That's all good. That's
mm,
all the start. But I've always kind of really honed in on like we are what we do. And so I've just always been in search of practices that make me feel better, make me feel stronger, make me feel more capable, make me more intelligent, and then just tried to source those and then ultimately share them with other people because then if I'm doing it with cool people like you, then all of a sudden it's like our friendship and our connection is going to be built on that. and it just, and vice versa. Like if our friendship is going to be built on doing drugs together, or our friendship is going to be built on talking badly about other people,
Right.
or it's going to be built on, you know, criminal activity, then we're going to attract other people interested in debilitating practices.
Right.
And so, you know, the more I just started to look at it, like the more yoga practice, the more hit in the gym, the more bench press, the more, you know, back handspring, the more, you know, meditation that I could bring into my life, the more that I would also be sourcing people around me that are also interested in more entrepreneurism, the more creativity in business. I'm always on the hunt, for anything that'll build community around things that'll have positive influence on my life.
Awesome. Yeah, influence, bro. Like you're a major influencer, bro, for sure. All right, so let's talk. So when we first met, what were you going through? What was your situation like? And then and take us through, maybe a certain situation now that you're dealing with that it is still working on yourself. We're trying to figure out, whether it's mind, a little bit of combination mind, body, and soul that you're working on to get to the next level, or to get to the like maybe a different situation of feeling in terms of what you're
All
feeling
right,
currently.
so let's get a little raw, bro.
Yeah, let's get raw,
Raw.
man.
That was a sweet question. But let's get a little raw. Okay, so this chapter of my life would be divorce as a spiritual practice.
Mm, mm.
How can you fuck your shit up and still, you know, how can you fuck your shit up and still play your cards to the best of your ability? So I'm going through divorce, and and like the most heartbreaking thing was, like, I came to this realization that I was like, man, I am not like being the parent that I'd like to be. This isn't the vision that I had for it, and I don't feel good about this.
Mm.
So that was step one. Step two is like, I I don't want to say I love my ex like I did before. I want to say I have a lot of love for her. I have a
Right.
lot of love for my ex, and I don't like being in an antagonizing relationship with her. And like, so okay, so the heater in her yoga studio broke, and so I went over to help her fix it. And it was cool. This cool dude from Colombia. He comes over, awesome guy. His name's Caesar, and he's like sitting there, and he's like, "So who's the boss?" And I point over to her, and she's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "So who are you?" I was like, "I'm her ex-husband." he's like, "Man, like," he's like, "You white people are amazing." He's like, "I can't even be in the same room with my ex-wife."
Right.
He's
Right.
like, us Latin people, man, we be killing each other. And he's like, man, like, you white people are so good at getting divorced. And I was like, that's like the best backhanded compliment like I've ever received. Like,
Yeah.
and it definitely wasn't always like that. And I honestly, I think it has nothing to do with being white. I think it has nothing to do with being
Mm.
Latino. I think it's just some,
Yeah,
it's
awareness, consciousness around it.
awareness.
Yeah.
Like anybody can do it, but certainly, like, the thing that I think would be helpful to anyone listening is, like, even for me, feeling like I'm failing as a parent, or feel like I'm like antagonizing my ex, and like we're really fighting. There's always the next day.
Mhm.
And that was like such a liberating moment to me, where I was like, wake up in the morning, try my best, fail, go to bed. Next day, wake up in the morning, like, set that positive intention again. And like that sort of bullheaded, like, intention that,
Mm.
like, I want to be a positive influence in my ex's life.
Yeah.
Maybe we were, without getting into too much on the parenting side, like, I don't I just wanted to do better.
Right.
Like, that was like a fundamental thing, and life and things that were out of my control were screwing me up. And really, that consciousness that tomorrow, today, we get to start over,
Yeah.
and we just go at it like a bulldog. And yeah, divorce sucks. like it's gonna suck.
Right.
It's gonna hurt. It's
Of
gonna be
course.
painful.
Yeah.
You're gonna hurt. You're gonna say things that you don't really, that you wish you could take back. You're gonna become the, like, what's fascinating to me about divorce is it's literally the worst version of yourself.
Mm, mm, mm.
That process, more so than anything universally that I've encountered, will show you this is the worst version of you.
Mm, mm.
And then there's redemption. And so, yeah, you're going to be that worst version. You're going to say things, you're going to do things, you're going to feel certain ways. It's destabilizing. It just puts you through tremendous emotional turmoil.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a very emotionally charged situation.
And that leads to bad behavior.
Right. Right.
Like that leads, and so, but I think, like, coming back to, like, okay, well, what if divorce is a spiritual process? Like,
Mm,
what if it is a purification ritual?
mm,
What if it, it's like we don't really, like, we talk about, the positives of these rituals, but it's like, well, why can't it be a spiritual process to see the worst version of you,
mm.
and then try to
And
bring out the
work
best
from it.
version of you?
Yeah, yeah, work from it. Like you get an
And
opportunity to develop as a human in that situation or in that perspective.
and yeah, and if we're talking about self-improvement, if we're talking about trying to become a better version of ourselves, what better chance than when you're getting the beat down.
Mm, mm.
Um so so that's yeah, so here I am.
Yeah, so so now what are you doing to like I guess you're keeping that macro level of intention, right? Like understanding like whatever goes on, the things I can't even control, I'm gonna go wake up and I'm still gonna work on being the best version for myself and a positive influence not only for my daughter but your ex-wife as well. That's great. How do you then do that? So a couple of questions that I typically ask would be, what is that part of your morning routine? Do you have a morning routine? Is it breath work? Is it meditation? Does that help? Have you been in some point of life that you didn't do that and now you do it? And what's the difference, for someone that may be interested or working on that part of their journey?
So I've been very consistent for a very long time, never at the level of intensity that I wish I were.
Mm.
And so I think that's partially my personality type. I would say almost every day for the last, I don't know how long, 15 years, 20
Mm.
years, I've done some version of yoga, meditation, ice bath, working out in the gym, um,
Journaling too,
running,
right? Do you journal?
journaling,
Yeah.
like especially with my Dharmify method.
Yep.
you know, I'm doing some version of that every single day, hand balancing. So I'm definitely, like, I'm doing something physical or mental, some type of bold action specifically for my own well-being on
Yeah.
a daily basis. I'm not like the most disciplined meditator. Not the most disciplined yoga practitioner. I'm not the most disciplined guy in the gym. I'm not the most disciplined journaling guy. Like, I don't have my one thing, but I'm definitely doing something for an hour to 2 hours a day
Yeah.
for the last 20 plus years,
Yeah.
24 years probably, since I
Mm.
was a teenager. So, and yeah, it's changed a little bit. Like, when I was younger, I did more Kundalini yoga. As I got older, I did more Ashtanga. Then I did more Bikram. Now I'm doing more hand balance and flexibility. So I've gone with some trends a little bit. But, like, even this morning, I was back to doing the Kundalini yoga mantras and I was journaling. Yesterday, I, jumped in the frozen ice bath, but I didn't do it today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, just that's helped me
Right.
dramatically. Like,
Right.
it's always, having your own personal practice, whether you
Yeah.
call it a spiritual practice or you're just hitting the gym or you're running,
Right.
like something that you're physically doing to transform yourself is the ultimate armor, because you can really, there's something that brings you back to just putting yourself in your body and grinding it out.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
agree. So
I'm a huge fan.
yeah, you're consistently doing something. So the modalities may change here and there, but there's a consistent care for yourself and understanding that like if you take the hour and a half, 2 hours to move the body, get the breath work, reset the mind, or quiet the brain. It definitely can put you in a different perspective going into, whatever else is going to be affecting you or these outside factors. Um,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. So let me ask you, we got a few more minutes, and then we'll definitely get you back on for another episode at some point. For someone that may be going through some sort of emotional situation like divorce, or like a separation, like I've been there too, man, where like you're in this relationship, next thing you know, you can't go to work because you broke up or some shit, or like whatever the fight is going on. What is like a macro level thought that you can provide to somebody? I know and I think we talked about it a little bit, but in terms of waking up and just, you may fail today, but you have an opportunity tomorrow to keep that intention going and do it. Anything else on top of that, or anything that you can provide to someone?
I would reframe it as your spiritual quest.
Mm, mm,
Like, 200 people come to your wedding and you're alone when you get divorced.
mm,
Everybody sends you presents when you get married, and nobody sends you anything when you get divorced. Like it's a celebration. You say congratulations. You have a moment to give a speech. You get your picture taken.
mm,
It's this incredibly warm embrace when you get married or you link up with someone. It's passionate, like it's togetherness.
mm,
And when you break up, it's aloneness.
mm,
And like, I think that's beautiful.
mm,
I think it's like the stripping down of the ego.
mm,
i
mm.
think it's like I think it's like taking your identity and destroying it. And even you look at, like, in Hinduism, like Shiva is the destroyer. That's
Mm,
one of the gods.
mm.
Like that is one of the chances. Like even like Jesus on the cross,
Right,
it's like Jesus is getting freaking murdered
right.
for your, like, that's the liberation.
Mm, mm, mm,
And I don't think we're giving it really the respect that it deserves when you fail.
mm.
And those of you, like, if you're going through depression, you're going through sadness, you're questioning yourself, you're questioning your world. If you can reframe that as this is your spiritual rebirth, maybe that'll help you as a thought.
Oh yeah.
And and like and like this is your moment, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. Like if the world beats your ass down, this is really the opportunity to come back so much stronger. And going through that, like, yeah, tomorrow's another day for you to win. Today you lose. Like I do look at it like like you lost, and
Take
that's
the L.
okay.
Take the L.
Take
Yeah.
the L, bro.
Take
Take
the
the L.
L. Go back. Go look at
Fucking
your
man up.
at your team. At your playbook, and then figure out where you need to change a
That's
couple of
it.
these things. Right. Yeah.
It's it's a sick, dark, twisted, beautiful thing.
Hey, I love it. I love it.
And that's my thought for you. That's
Cool.
that's, that's my thought.
All right. Well, like always, Harg, obviously we appreciate you. The Yoga Prince, again, the Yoga Prince from West Virginia. If you guys are interested in a retreat, Harg runs them right every couple of months, where
Yeah.
he's the practitioner. He's in there giving you wisdom, giving you some perspective. Check it out. Where can we find that, Harg?
CasaOhm.com and CasaOhmPotomac.com. I'd love to meet you all. Please
Yeah.
come. Please come see me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here's the kicker too, is we're working together, and we're going to be giving away one what is it, 5 days, 6 days?
Yeah. Yep. Five
Yep.
nights.
5 nights at Casa on Potomac. You actually get a chance to meet Harg, practice yoga, wonderful food. You just finished a food book too. I know you were photographing that. That's going
Yep.
to come out. That's going to look great. So stay tuned for those details. We're going to get that out there, and one of you lucky winners, listeners, will actually get a chance to go out there and enjoy it and get some perspective. It's a beautiful spot. I can't wait to go back. Harg, thanks again. Keep crushing it, my brother. If there's anything that you need from me, or always here for you. Likewise, and I appreciate you always. Keep crushing it. And guys, don't forget, nothing changes until you do. We'll see you guys again on the next one. Peace.
Love you guys. Bye.